And thank you all for joining us tonight. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate not just the time that you're spending with us tonight, but obviously all the time that you spend investing with Girl Scouts and volunteering. My name is Wendy Warner. I'm the Troop Support Specialist in the Southeast area. Jen Gillen is the co-facilitator for tonight's town hall, and she is the membership coordinator in the Southwest area. And we've also got some other staff on here tonight that I'm going to let introduce themselves. And so why don't we start? Why don't you just unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and tell us what area you're from, if you're staff.
Hi, I'm Joanne. My area is Greater Omaha area and Saunders County and, well, Fremont and Wahoo area.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lila. I have the central area. That's it.
I think that all of thanks. I think that might be all of us. We've got a couple who had prior commitments before tonight.
Oh, wait, Jen, did Jen introduce herself?
Wendy did.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay.
So with cookie sales right around the corner, we thought it would be timely to talk about badges and the program outcomes from the cookie program. But first, we're going to start with some trivia. I'm going to ask some questions and you can write the answers down. It's on the honor system, and so no Googling, no checking. So we're going to start. When were cookies first sold? I think staff should do this too. I think a lot of us know this, but it's a good refresher. So when were Girl Scout cookies first sold? What year? And then question number 2 is who made them? And then where were they made? Where is in like geographic location area? And a bonus if you know the troop that actually made them. In 1922, about how much did how much did the ingredients for 6 dozen cookies cost? So I'll say that again, 1922, about how much did the ingredients for 6 dozen cookies cost? Question number 5, in what year were commercially baked cookies first sold? And where? So 5A, 5B. And then the last question, so a lot of the questions are focused from early on. What 3 varieties were available in 1951? So we didn't always have as many varieties as we have now. Okay, so let's go back to number 1 was when were cookies first sold? Who knows the answer? Just maybe put it in the chat. Let's see. I don't know, is my chat not coming through here, or does anyone else see, does staff see message answers to the question? Or are there any?
I'm not seeing any yet.
Okay, so cookies were first sold in 1917. Oh, very good guess, Chandra. And so since we didn't have an answer to 1, did anyone answer 2? Who made the cookies? Does anyone know who the cookies were originally made by?
The girls.
Correct, with the help of their moms. Yep. And does Did he know, do we know where? Muskogee, Oklahoma, and it was the
Oh,
mistletoe
wow.
troop. Yep. And so then 5 years later, it cost 26 to 36 cents for the for the ingredients for 6 dozen cookies. I literally read that 10 times because I'm like, can that even be real? But yes, that's what it said. And then in what year were cookies first commercially sold? So they were baked by a commercial baker and packaged by them and sold. And that was did we have any answers? 1935, and that was in New York. And then the answer to the last question is there were 3 varieties in 1951, which were sandwich cookies, shortbread, and Thin Mints. Shortbread were the original cookie. I thought I printed the recipe here. Maybe I didn't get it. Not that much on this desk. Anyway, for fun, you might look up the recipe someday, and actually there's still troops that try out that recipe just for fun. So a bonus question or maybe a statement, cookies are not a fundraiser, they are a program. I think, Jen, is that where you take over? Or I'm going into the outcomes. Is that right?
You're going into outcomes.
I don't have that many papers on this desk, so I'm not sure where they all went. Okay, so there's a couple of progression charts on our website, and I can load this into the chat too. It's not very easy to see at all. But basically what it does is show at each level, daisies through ambassadors, what the preeminent, if you will, component of the cookie program is, and then what the outcomes are. So for example, at the daisy level, they're talking that the money manager is the badge. And so they learn money basics. And so they talk with their fellow troop members about different forms of money, and they learn how much Girl Scout cookies cost. And so they're really just kind of trying to get some information or develop a foundation for the the product, which is the cookie. And then, just like a business, at the next level, they're focused on decision making, and they make plans for the coming Girl Scout year, and set a budget. So they talk about what they want to do with the money that they earn from the program. And then they compare their proceeds from the previous year, and then can even set goals for the next year. The next level is goal setter. Obviously set goals as a troop and then also individually. And then these all filter or funnel rather into like the badges and the pens. Consumer expert is the next one. And so girls really at this age are proficient about the knowledge of their product. I mean, they might actually know some of the history, the recipe. They'll know historically how their business has performed. So they'll know what their goal was last year compared to this year. The next level is cookie techie. And so at this level, they're using technology to grow their business. I mean, the technology component is there, but I think it's very different at the daisy level than it is at, for example, the cadet level. They can make videos and electronic messages, send emails. The next one is networker. And so they build a social support system. And so just like you would for a business, you would do your customers, and then you build your customer base, and by word of mouth, you increase your sales for your product. And then the next one is innovator. And so you take it beyond Girl Scout cookies, and then you start really honing in on how the skills that you've learned throughout the Girl Scout cookie program can benefit your future career. And then the last one is entrepreneur. That's pretty fun. It takes your business to the next level. And so it would be, for example, transitioning your business from the cookie customer base to another Girl Scout. I know when my daughter graduated in 12th grade, she actually handed off her customer list to another Girl Scout, so that, you know, they could grow their business and that the cookie program could continue to succeed in the area. So those are some of the program outcomes, at least as the progression chart shows. Let's see. All right, Jen, you want to talk about the 5 business skills?
Yes. So the 5 skills and the Girl Scout leadership outcomes, everything girls do in Girl Scouting is designed to help them grow into leadership, you know, girls of courage, confidence, and character. So these 5 skills that the girls learn through their Girl Scout cookie program are important ingredients in this Girl Scout leadership experience. So number 1 for sure is goal setting. So your girls set those cookie goals individually and with their troop. So especially if they have a goal as a troop, whether that's you know, a troop trip or a big goal of a troop later on or something that they want to do. With that, she develops cooperation and team building, all those skills along the way. For sure, decision making. Your Girl Scout helps decide how her troop will spend that cookie money, furthering the critical thinking and problem solving skills that will help her in many aspects of her life. Problem solving as far as how are we going to set up to make this cookie sell happen? Like, you know, weather, you know, door to door, you know, how are we going to make all of these things happen? The third one is money management. Your Girl Scout takes cookie orders, handles customer money, gains all that valuable and practical life skills around financial literacy, counting money back when they start little, as far as daisies and those kind of things, learning how, you know, much they make on each box of cookies, and the responsibility of making for sure they count that change back and making for sure that the troop gets their money at the end. For sure, people skills. Your Girl Scout learns how to talk to and listen to and work with all kinds of people while selling those Girl Scout cookies, along with helping them develop healthy relationship and conflict resolution skills. We all know that sometimes cookie sales can bring on so many things, and she can use those skills throughout her life also. Business ethics. Your Girl Scout comes back to the promise and law with honest and responsible at every step of the cookie sale. Her business ethics reinforce the positive values she's developing as a Girl Scout. Learning more about the Girl Scout leadership experience, you can go to www.girlscout.org/GSLE. These are all ways to learn those 5 skills, and that cookie sale is vital, I think, in that leadership process.
And so just kind of going back to something I said earlier, the time between Thanksgiving and the New Year is a busy time for, I think, a lot of families, and kiddos are busy and involved in programs and different kinds of things like that. And so I personally don't think that there's a lot that happens after the second weekend in December. I mean, I could be wrong if I haven't been around the troops for a long time, but I think as we get closer to the holiday break and kiddos and their families taking off for that December and that period through January just slows way down. And so that's why this period between Thanksgiving and the second week in December is a really good time to do a cookie badge, or even do it when they come back from break. The dicey thing, a little bit of the dicey thing about doing it after break is it could be after the initial cookie orders are due. And so depending on how you do your timing and how your girls and your parents or families are involved in setting those initial orders, you'll just have to decide from there. But each level, except for cadets, has 2 cookie badges, 2 financial literacy badges, and then 1 entrepreneur badge. Cadets have 3 because they're a 3-year program. Each of the requirements for each of the badges are found in the volunteer toolkit. And so if you cannot get into the volunteer toolkit, or you haven't been in there or need help, definitely reach out to member support or your troop support specialist. So I'm going to take just a couple of these. I didn't have a chance to look before we got started to see how many daisies and juniors or brownies and juniors we have. I think that's mostly who we get on our calls. But just for example, first of all, my first cookie business is a daisy level financial literacy badge, or excuse me, cookie badge. And Volunteer Toolkit has that broken into 2 meetings. Let's see, 2 1-hour meetings. And so you might, first of all, you might look at this, I mean, administratively, and see how you could merge it into 1 meeting if you wanted to. You might be able to add just a little bit of time at the end, or there might be something, for example, you don't do a snack, or I mean, obviously you're only going to have 1 opening and 1 closing. So I think if you wanted to, I think you could get it easily into 1 meeting. But just generally, the requirements are find out about Girl Scout cookies. So when girls know their products, I mean, all of this kind of funnels into girls selling more cookies. And so that may or may not be their goal, but if their goal is to sell a lot of cookies, then these are some skills that will help them accomplish their goal. Then they decide how to use the cookie money and set a goal. And then they practice their sales pitch. And so we do that also, making sure that we follow the safety guidelines. So using like first names, using parents' phone numbers, and just making sure that we're doing things to keep girls safe. Maybe think of something else. Lost it. So that is a daisy example. At the brownie level, the girls are again learning about the cookies, and so you know, we're working with you know, and age appropriate information. And so if kindergarten and first graders are know that there are X amount variety of cookies and they've got a general idea of what those are, that is awesome. So adding to that, girls may be able to, as a brownie, talk about which ones are vegan, which ones are gluten-free, which ones have peanuts in them. So they're basically increasing their knowledge base of the product. Again, they decide how to use the cookie money. I think that's probably at every level. They talk about finding customers, they talk about handling money and making change, and then connecting with customers. And again, they've got that one broken down to 2 meetings for brownies. I personally think, I mean, someone who maybe is in the trenches can jump in, but I think through brownies, you could pretty much do 1 badge a meeting. Juniors, sometimes I think it takes a little more time and maybe something off-site. But I think that a majority of that can be done in a troop meeting. See what else I've got here. So does anyone, let's do maybe some interaction. Does anyone have any examples or something they want to share that they've done to help girls work through a badge or to set goals?
Hi, my name is Rebecca Foster. I don't have anything for that specifically. I do have a question though. I'm only in my 2nd year with our troop, and so I'm struggling with like how do I handle some of the girls earned their first year badges last year and others have not because now they're new to the troop, or like I've got a couple daisies where like one daisy was on the troop last year and now we have a new daisy who's a kindergartner. So do we just do the other badge because some of the girls have already earned the first one, or like how does that work?
I think that's what I would do. Because then so what you're saying is you've got kindergartners and first graders,
Yeah.
and then so you'll earn the badge that you didn't earn last year this year, and then when your first graders move up to brownies, then your kindergartners who move into first grade can do that other badge. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, at that age particularly, I don't know that they're necessarily retaining a ton of information. And so, I mean, even as leaders, you know, I encourage leaders to reiterate or like review at the next meeting. And so, you know, if you did your cookie badge, 2 weeks ago and you start the meeting tonight, you'll say, who remembers what badge we earned last week? And I mean, someone may actually have had it ironed on already, which would be like really cool. You know, and they can say, oh, this is what it looks like. And you can say, does anyone remember the 3 things that we earned, or the 3 things that we did to earn that? And then you can just do a little review. I mean, even all badges, that's a great policy to kind of do, just because, you know, it's a lot of information that you're going over in a short period of time. And so, you know, reinforcing that is not going to be, it's going to be a positive thing. You know, and I think if you get the sense that they're, you know, that they've got it, you could add something to it. You could add another component, or you could add like your own like personalized requirement. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so,
'Cause, I mean, I do have all the way up to juniors and it would apply across all 3 levels. I just used Daisy as an example. So I kind of assumed that's what I would do. And so then like any years going forward, um, if there becomes a time where I need to do a badge that's a repeat for somebody, then they just do a repeat for some reason. I mean, I don't know if that would happen. I'm thinking like down the
yeah,
line.
the other thing I was going to say is if they've already got the badge, if you wanted to get a patch that they could put on the back just to show that they earned it. I mean, that's the only thing I would ever say. The staff, do I have any staff that has another idea? Yeah, crickets. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody?
No, you know what you said before about about the way you said it is the way that I would have said it too. You know, with the first grader this year, you know, do that other badge, and then the next year the kindergartner that's going to be the first grader would earn that, and that applies, like Rebecca said, that applies to all levels too.
Okay. All right. I just sometimes we get new girls coming in from other troops and you know, so I guess that leads to another question then, like if this is their second year as like a brownie, other than like looking at their sash or vest, is there a way for me to know what they've already earned?
No,
Not really.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes you can lean on, parents too, because that's part of, that family. I don't want to say necessarily responsibility, but like some of it as, leaning into that family part of this is the moms and the parents, knowing what they've earned and getting it on their vests and knowing kind of where they're at in that progression, because it is a progression, so knowing where they're at in that progression.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you've got a new girl, I mean, a girl can jump into a troop and start off like where she's at. I mean, at any point in time. And so, I mean, make the accommodations to the extent that you can. It sounds like you've got a big multi-level troop. And so, I mean, if it's a review or if it's a repeat, I think you're fine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
you
I
can't
mean,
go
that's just
back.
kind of it.
How it works.
Yeah, you can't go back and make up every patch for everyone or every badge for everyone in all the levels.
Yeah.
You know, at some point. So I think that falls on the parents, you know, responsibility to if they want to go back and do some of those things.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
And
Thank
so,
you so
and
much.
Rebecca, where are you located?
I'm Papillion. I'm at
Okay.
L Elementary.
Okay, so just, I mean, make sure that if you have more questions about this, definitely reach out to your troop support specialist. Cause I mean,
Okay.
they can chat it through too.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions before we keep going? I had some notes. Does anyone want, or is anyone interested in, best practices or ways to increase sales? I've just got this is some stuff from when I've done it. I'm just gonna run through this real quick. We've got time. So one of the best practices that I came up with is communicating with customers. And so, you know, girls who can demonstrate a basic knowledge of the product, their ability to handle money, and their maturity to have a conversation and talk about the product are going to be more successful. And now that doesn't mean that there aren't girls that have like different abilities or different personalities. This is just kind of an an all-encompassing, here are some things that you should strive to do. And so also an important part of what some of the badges call the pitch is girls being able to talk about what they're going to do with the money that they earn. And so you as a troop leader may not specifically know when you did the budget, you might have said we're going to do one field trip a month and we're going to do one program every other month and we really want to go camping. So I mean, if you give them like a basic standardized statement that they can make. And so I think the one that I used here is earn Girl Scout badges and go to programs and camps. And so I think one of the questions that girls get asked a lot are what their favorite cookie is. And so I think that I would prepare girls to be able to answer that question. Also, and then manners.
Sorry, Wendy.
No, go
One thing
ahead.
I was gonna say was, believe it or not, we have some girls in some areas that, and you might have them in troops that you don't think you do, that have never tried Girl Scout cookies. Maybe their family can't afford to buy those cookies. And so if you can, save back a box from your troop sales, or from your booths, a box of those cookies so they can try them for the next year, because they can't sell something that they don't know, you know, so maybe they've never tried it. And so that politeness and that thing of, oh, you know, I don't really care for mint, but I know people who do, you know, teach them how to say that, ooh, not say, ooh, I hate mint. I don't like those thin mints. You know, it's hard to teach little girls of a certain age to say, ooh, I hate those thin mints. No, that's not how we sell. Ooh, I don't really care for mint, but I know people who really like those. And so that's my number one seller, you know. But if they try those, maybe they'll try them and they decide, ooh, I really like that. So tasting those cookies and actually knowing what they're selling. I did find on our website, we have tons of resources on our website, that entrepreneurship progression. Get them involved and have a little bit more fun with your cookie sale. Like there's a one that says cookie techie. Get them using technology. Kids love technology. Get them using their video, do a commercial of selling their Girl Scout cookies. Put them together and make a video that they can share with their friends and family. do a troop commercial, that kind of thing. Networking, connect with local business leaders. Maybe, we use the Walmart booth, but maybe look into different businesses that you could set up somewhere. Realtors, banking, those kind of things. Go outside the box as far as that goes. We have lots of small communities, those people are the people that are buying those cookies and supporting our Girl Scouts. Reach out to more than just the big box stores and those kind of things. Innovators, on your own or with your troop, think about a product or service you'd like to improve and brainstorm ways to make it happen. Come up with several ideas to, go back to the drawing board and look at better ways to maybe look at what you could do with those cookies than just be cookies. Recipes, come up with recipes to go with those cookies, and maybe make recipe cards to go along with those boxes of cookies. Lots of different things that you could do. So check out those resource pages. You do lots of different things with them.
I think also girls will inevitably be asked, well, what should I get? And so I think helping prepare them to answer that question. I think last year when cookies were $5, I think the pitch was you get 4 for $20. And so, I mean, that sounds like it's a deal, but I mean, it's like the real deal. So, I mean, if they could come up with something catchy like that, or like, we think you need to try one of each of these, or, I mean, just the fact that they have an answer to those questions, I think is helpful. I started to say manners. I mean, at the very least, saying thank you is critical. I mean, I think Girl Scout cookies will sell themselves for the most part, but our customers, I think our customers really look to the girls to earn that sale, by being able to talk to them and communicate what they're using that money for. And so by saying thank you, that's a huge component. We talked about knowing your product. We talked about cookie resources, and looking here, there's the recipe I was looking for.
Yes. So the price,
did you-
we had a chat in the chat. So
Okay.
Jen, is it Gina? Yes, the price is increasing. It's going from $5 a box to $6 a box this year.
And then the profit
So-
went up to what, Jen?
Is it? What did they say? Joanne, do you remember exactly what it is? I haven't done my cookie training, I will admit. That's
I think
me.
it went up 10 cents.
10 cents, yeah. 80 cents. Yep.
to 80.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Right, so it's 80 cents per box and then 90 for opting out.
If you opt out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
just a reminder,
Exactly.
opting out is unanimous, not majority. So all of the girls have to agree that they want to opt out, not 8 out of 10, if that makes sense. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention, we were talking about badges, but then I also wanted to mention, yeah, this is really blurry. This is the curriculum for programs on demand. So there's a cookie programs on demand. It's called My Cookie Season Planner. And so if you don't know what a product on demand is, program on demand rather, excuse me, is you can order them through Girl Scouts. They're $10 for each kit. And so the kit comes with a passport sticker. It comes with a patch, and then it comes with most of the supplies, a majority of the supplies, and the curriculum for completing the badge. And so, for example, in here, you're going to map it out. So there's supplies, paper, and markers and different things like that to basically create a map of where you're going to sell your cookies. Here's a planner. And so girls are going to create a planner to set aside time and days to sell their cookies. This is really cute. I was going to try and show you, but it's not going to work. Here they make a crossbody money bag, and it's made out of those quilted hot pads and then some rope. It's super cute. The gift of sharing. So I think the it leads the conversation on what the gift of sharing is, and then how determining how to identify those organizations that that benefit from that. And then there's a swap, part 1 and part 2 swap, and that's what it is. And so I think it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get a program on demand. So if you're looking at doing one, I would get that ordered. It's under your events tab under in the BTK, my events. All right. Does anyone have any questions, or does staff have anything to add to anything I've said so far? Jen, you want to talk about cookie pens?
Yes. So cookie pins. There are family cookie entrepreneur pins. There are 2 pins per level, except for there are 3 pins for the cadet level. 1, 2, and 3 family pins for that level. So those pins basically are the kind of the same scenarios, goal setting, your action plans, setting how you're going to reach those goals, how to find your customers, using your action plan. If you've done cookie sales before, using your past experiences, what worked, what didn't work, using and abiding the Girl Scout law and promise. What's going to be your sales pitch? What are you going to do? Are you going to do a commercial? Are you going to put it on your Facebook page to reach out to family and friends? But all of those things you can do as a family and get those entrepreneurship pins. Again, those resources are online. There is a poster that has all of the badges and all of the pins listed. I did talk to Libby. She is in charge of our Juliet's Boutique. She is ready with all those patches and all those pins. We have all of those available to purchase. So you can go online or you can visit any of our stores, and she has those ready for you. So she is ready for those, all set for you.
And so the pins are they can be earned in conjunction with a badge, and some of the information crosses over, but they were really designed to be done with the family as a way to bring the family into the program and to be involved with the girl and take part in the sales.
Does anybody have any questions about those pins or how to get those or if those things?
Okay, so like I said, we did cookies at this time because it seemed like a pretty timely topic as we are gearing up and preparing for cookie sales. My point being, if there are subjects or something that you want these town halls to cover, I mean, we are open to ideas. And so you can either put them here in the chat, or if you want to email your troop support specialist, you can do that too. We're always, evaluating what we're doing, evaluating what we're offering. And, we hope that it's what everyone wants, but without feedback, that may not actually be the case. And so, like I said, feel free to give us, feedback and suggest any ideas that you might have.
So also get those cookie intents in and get your training in. So trainings have already started for brand new leaders. They are doing 2 new trainings just for brand new leaders. Or if you feel like you need a little bit more training, you can join those too.
Yep, those are deeper dives. So on December 11th at 7 p.m. and December 16th at noon, those are 2 new leader trainings, or 2 trainings specifically designated for new leaders. excuse me. I think it's leaders, but also troop cookie manager.
Yes.
Yes. And then the next training date is this Saturday. There's one at 10 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. And then there's one Sunday, one Tuesday, and then the next one's 19, 20, and 2. And at some point there is, and staff can correct me if this is already out, there's an online version, but it usually doesn't come out to like the very end. And I strongly encourage people to take the virtual one because you get live Q&A with those. Not that you can't get your questions answered with the online one, but it's real time if you do the virtual ones.
Julia, if you go on our website, there's places where there's a place where if you just go to Cookies resources online, it's on there. And if you go to any of our Facebook area pages, it's on there. Or if you go to the Girl Scouts Facebook page, Spirit of Nebraska Facebook page, it's on there also. If I think can we post a link in the chat, Joanne?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it.
Yeah, if we can get it.
Yes, I'll go ahead and do it. Yes, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. The other thing that I wanted to mention too was cookie rallies. Cookie rallies, if your troop wants to do cookie rally, we have to have those registrations in by January 12th. So January 12th is a cookie rallies. Those you can register online also, or I believe program specialists are having those on Facebook pages also. So
And also,
Rebecca, you said you had a non-related question about ratios.
let me ask.
Okay.
Yep, let me answer. Let me say one thing first.
Okay.
Before I forget it. Oh, okay. So this is for new troop cookie managers. I think one of the things that I sense is the most confusing, or one of the most confusing things, is that you need to take a cookie training before you can get any materials. And so if you're hoping to have those materials to have a cookie parent meeting or family meeting, you need to get that training done, and you need to allow some time in between. So you take a training, you let your product program manager, you tell them that you took the training, send them an email, and then there's a process of putting those packets together and then letting you know that it's available to be picked up. If you've sent the email and haven't heard from them within a day or two, I'd resend the email, just because, there's a lot going on right now. And so that might be, they might have gotten bogged down. Does everyone understand that? I don't know how many new troop cookie managers we have on here.
Also, the other thing too, you might keep in mind that as you're going into cookie season, anyone that you have at cookie booths, as far as adults, those people need to be background checked and screened members. So those people need to be adult support members.
They need to be registered. Yep.
Registered members. So keep that in mind, along with your girl ratios. So if you have people sitting at back cookie booths or taking girls to the bathroom or those kind of things, they need to be members and background checked. Any other questions cookie related?
Rebecca, you could definitely ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So again, I'm only in my second year, and we went from 8 girls to 17. And so I want to make sure that I'm understanding the ratios. So we all meet at the same time, and we open and close together. And then we have 3 co-leaders and a 4th one that's finishing up her training and all that kind of stuff. So if I'm understanding correctly, I have to follow the DAISY ratios. So if there's X number of daisies, I have to have 2 adults, and then for every, I think it's 6 more daisies, I have to have 1 more or whatever. Is that correct? And how to figure out how many people I need like
Um,
at a meeting.
Are you
and-
breaking, so are you breaking out into Daisy Brownie Juniors, on the same night? Or are you doing curriculum all together? Are you doing, what did you say, 27, 22,
No, 18, 17.
18, 17? So are you
Yeah.
doing all 17 together? Or are you breaking into the individual levels to deliver curriculum?
It depends what we're working on. So like we just did a fun one last week where one of the moms knows American Sign Language, and so she did
Nice.
like a deal on sign language, and so we did a fun patch, and so that was like everybody together. But sometimes like if we're working on badges, then we'll open and close together, but then the daisies work on theirs, the brownies work on theirs, the juniors work on theirs, and so we'll break off because we meet at the school and we'll go to different areas for them to work
So-
like in
Okay, so
respective-
if you're, that's what I was getting at. So like, say for example, you're in like room A, B, and C. And so you should have 2 unrelated adults with each group at all times. Does that make
Oh.
sense? So I mean, it's I'm gonna borrow the phrase from another organization. It's too deep leadership. And so there should be 2 adults. So I mean, if you have got 6 brownie or 6 daisies in one room, that's 2 adults, and 6 brownies in one room, that's 2 adults, and 6 juniors in one room, that's 2 adults. Now if everybody was in the same room, you could probably get by with 3 or 4 adults. Do you
Okay.
agree, Joe? I think she's in your, I think, isn't Papillion yours?
Yeah.
Yes, and I do agree with that. So like if you're in the library, but you're in different parts of the library, that's where I think you could get away with even 3 or 4 adults. But if you are in separate rooms, exactly what Wendy said, you should have 2 adults with them in that room, because you never want an adult to be by themselves with the girls.
Okay.
So,
And then that's not necessarily because we mistrust people, but I mean,
No,
if
no.
if a girl would have a medical emergency, or if a girl gets sick, I mean, there's just situations that present themselves that that more than one adult is needed for. And I mean, and honestly, it's just a good policy, because I mean, it protects the adults as much as it does the girls.
Okay. So then if we do a field trip, then I still follow like the daisy ratio for like if we're all going together and we're going to go ice skating or something, I have to follow the lowest level of girls that I have present, correct? So like it's X number of daisies has 2 adults, and then X, I think it's like if you add a couple more, whatever the number is, then you add 1 more, so do I follow the lowest level of girls present?
And that's what I tell people, Joe. Is that what you tell your area?
I do tell them that, because I mean, even when you go on field trips, I mean, you always want more adults on the field trip. I mean, just for safety factor. Um, it might be that you have like 8 adults going, but for the ratio part, you want to make sure that the ones covering ratio are registered also.
Okay. Yeah, we really haven't done any field trips, so I just want to make sure that I get it correct before we do.
Yes.
So,
No, those were great questions, Rebecca. Thank you.
yeah.
If you go
I wanna
to
say
the website and go to the activity safety checkpoints, those numbers are in there. So when it comes to those, if you're going to public places, more is better. So, and if
Okay.
you can get some adults, even then you can ask parents to come. Even if they're not members, parents can actually be there. But make for sure your girl to adult ratios are met, and then parents can actually be there also. There's there's safety in numbers, especially when you're in public places.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what I assumed. I thought I got that right, but I'm planning a field trip right now, and so I just wanted to take the time to ask somebody since I had a captive audience. So I appreciate your
For sure.
Sure.
For sure. Great question.
thank you.
I'm going to put the safety activity checkpoints link in the chat also.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
We were talking about sampling cookies earlier. And so, I mean, when we sold cookies for the very first time, I probably should have prefaced this. I had a Girl Scout troop in 2005 for 13 years. So when we first started, the troop actually bought a package of each cookie so that the girls could taste them. And if there was a new cookie, I mean, and this was pre-COVID, so it worked back then. It would not work now. So I mean, let's just say for example, the fictional Raspberry Rally cookie came back this year. We would actually like put 2 or 3 cookies in a Ziploc bag and have it available so that people would try it. And they might be broken into like 4 pieces. And I mean, you would try to be as health conscious as you could about that, but most people honestly didn't care. So once they've tasted the cookies, or, you know, the ones that have been in in the lineup for several years, then you would only have to do like a new cookie. So whatever the new cookie is next year, then you'd get that one package, and then everybody could taste it, and they would be able to know what it tastes like, and they could have information to sell it. Okay, I think that's all we got for tonight. Unless there's any more questions, we're happy to answer those. And if you think of something afterwards, like I said, just reach out to your troop support specialist or member support. All right, thanks
Hey,
everybody for
Wendy.
joining. Yep.
Hey, this is MJ. I have a question about after we buy all the cookies up front to sell, like we have an idea of what we're gonna sell. If we don't meet our goal, then does the troop just have those cookies, or are we able to return them back to Spirit of Nebraska?
No, you cannot return them. And so you don't buy them up front. And so you'll make your initial order. Let's just say, how many cookies are there? Eight varieties of cookies. Let's say you get 8 cases of cookies, 1 of each. And then you distribute those among the girls. And so what the girls take, their parents sign in a form saying that they're financially responsible for those cookies. And so it's not really the troop technically, it's more that it's more the families that the cookies are allocated to. So that's why that cookie parent meeting is so important, because you're involving them in that sale. And so, you know, a family that's choosing to sell 100 packages of cookies, you're not giving 200 packages of cookies to. And so then 3 times over the course of the cookie sale, the council will withdraw money from your Girl Scout troop checking account. So the first 2 ACH withdrawals will be equal, and they will be half of your initial order. So you'll the first withdrawal that we take, which I think is like 3 weeks after the first day of sales, we'll pull 50%. So we'll pull 5 cases minus your profit. Leave your profit in there. And then the second one is the same thing, exact amount. And then the third one will reflect any cookies that you get from a cookie cupboard. And so after that initial order, but you know, going back to that example of 100 packages, a girl gets 100 packages, and she gets 100 more packages and sells those, then that will be in your final ACH withdrawal. You would have gotten those cookies from a cookie cupboard. But there are ways to mitigate that. And so as you're heading towards the end of cookie sales, and I mean, if you want to talk about this more in depth, I've got lots of how-tos on this. I recommend that troop cookie managers offer troops or girls an opportunity to submit money every week. And I usually say that's a Monday, because I think most cookie sales happen over the weekend. And so if families are submitting money on Mondays, you know, that gets the money like out of the house, you know, in case there's loss or theft or, you know, all kinds of stuff, mismanagement. And so you'll be able to tell, I mean, if you have a girl who hasn't submitted money in 3 weeks, or even if you just do a check-in with them and she still has the 100 packages she started with, you can start reallocating cookies among the troop. And so, you know, if another girl has sold more cookies, instead of getting cookies from the cookie cupboard, you can transfer them from one girl to another girl, and you could start like alleviating, you could decrease the inventory that way so that the amount of cookies that are left are not as significant. And so, I mean, you'll really start like towards like probably week 3, 4, you'll really start to manage those orders, if you will. And then like, if girls, say you've got a bunch of cookies, let's say we had a snowstorm in week 3 and, people just haven't been able to get out. So girls are setting on a lot of cookies. Maybe you do a cookie booth at a basketball game or, somewhere else there's going to be a big crowd. I mean, you just start thinking strategically on how you're going to get rid of those cookies, and I can help you. I think all the troop support specialists will help, help troop cookie managers or leaders, figure out how not to be, having cookies left over.
Yes,
And
most
I mean,
definitely.
Yep. And I mean, anyone who's on the line, feel free to jump in. I mean, I love peer-to-peer learning. And so if anyone who's on here has had a situation where they've been able to, make sure that the cookie inventory ends up at 0. I mean, I'm all ears, and I think that anyone else would be, open to that.
And even all the school related sports events, to even have a booth at those are also helpful to unload cookies as well.
Yep.
I did
you'll
post.
need to,
Sorry,
they'll need to get permission.
Right,
They're from
the
I know
school.
she's from a smaller school.
Ah,
But I think they've been there before, MJ. So you can just check with the administration.
and even places of worship after the services, you could check with those as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And just because cookie sales are over doesn't mean your booth sales have to stop either. Once the cookies are your troops, they're yours to sell even after cookie sales are over. So even, April, May, June, those are your cookies to sell. So you can sell them then too. Just because cookie sales are technically over, you can still sell those cookies.
Up until the
Yes,
date
that's
of
a-
expiration.
Yes.
Yes, Jen, that's an excellent point.
Just be careful selling the chocolate ones in the summer months.
Exactly.
Yes, you need to maintain the integrity of the cookie. So, I mean, like smoke-free, animal-free,
Yes.
temperature controlled. But as long as you've maintained the integrity of the cookie, you can still sell it beyond the date. It's just the cutoff for incentives is that date, and then we'll still pull the money. But then when you sell the cookie, then you can, you just retain that money in your account.
I did post the Troop Cookie Manager Handbook in the chat also. That first page of the Troop Cookie Manager Handbook has a list of dates, and it has it has the first 2 ACHs, and then it has the final one from the cookie cupboards.
And all of these dates are going to be in your cookie training also. So all of these things will be put into that cookie training. So they will let all of this information be in that also.
Yep. And the dates are also, I haven't seen the envelope, but we've done this in the past. All the dates are usually on the front of the white envelope that you get with all the materials in them.
Yes. So
Go ahead.
once you get that cookie training done, you will get access to all of that. So don't wait on that cookie training. You want to make for sure that cookie training is done as soon as you can get it done.
Can you think of one more thing?
And so our product specialists do keep track of that also. So we know who has taken it and who has not. So please get that done. For sure. We get a list.
Can I ask a question about cookie packets, actually, now that we're on that topic?
Sure.
How long after you've completed training can we pick up the packets? Like, if we're doing training this weekend, when will packets be available, I guess is the question I have.
Where are you located?
Omaha.
Okay.
Okay, so
I mean,
those packets are available at the Girl Scout Dream Lab. So I would, what's your troop number? And I'll have, okay, what's your troop number?
44461.
Oh, Chandra. Okay.
Good job.
I'm pretty sure, I'll check with Tracy, but I'm pretty sure you can walk in and pick those up.
Okay.
And they'll have those ready.
Okay, so like
so
we can
that-
pick up on Monday because we're training this weekend.
Yes.
Cool, thank you.
and that's
wait,
going to
wait,
vary
no.
by
Sorry,
area.
Monday. Remember, Sunday and Monday, the Dream Lab is closed. Don't come Sunday or Monday.
Gotcha, Tuesday.
Okay.
Understood, thank you.
But Wendy, what were you saying?
Yep. So that's going to vary by area. So in Lincoln, you will not be able to just drop in and pick up a packet. So there will be a lag time. So after you take the training, right away send the email to Melissa Long. That's who the product program specialist is in the Southeast area. You'll send that email to her saying that you completed the training. And then what she does, she has a staff person who puts together the packet for her based on like the number of girls in your troop, and the number of families that you have. And then there should be a communication back to you, an email saying it's ready to be picked up. So, I mean, I'm going to say it could be a 3 to 4 day lag time at least. And so remember earlier when I said if you did not hear back from someone in 2 to 3 days to resend that email, that's what I would do.
Yes. Also, if your troop number changes, let your troop support specialist or your product program person know ASAP. So if you get a new girl, since you've done your training, let us know. Because sometimes those come from GSUSA, and so we get a limited amount of those. And so they don't give out extras normally, so they give out how many you have in your troop. And so if you would get 1 or 2 extra girls by the time cookie sales happen, you might need to get more of those. So please let us know if that happens.
Yep. Sorry, Wendy. I had forgotten that it is different in every area. So the central area, the Southwest, the Panhandle, Northeast, and Greater Omaha and Southeast.
Yep. Out west, our things get mailed out. So we have to wait on the mail service, which sometimes can be a little hairy sometimes. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would just close with, I mean, if you, any time that you are, if you're struggling to get information, struggling to get, responses or answers, reach out to your troop support specialist. I mean, who knows? Your packet could be in Lincoln, your packet could be sitting up front waiting for you, and there just might be a lag in communication. I mean, it's just a huge project, and sometimes things get overlooked. Huge undertaking, but it's brief. It's 6 to 8 weeks, and and honestly, I mean, I can be in a room full of girls who are not Girl Scouts, and when I ask them what they want to do in Girl Scouts, they will tell me sell cookies. And, I mean, my daughter literally had the time of her life selling cookies. I mean, she had a pretty dedicated customer base, and I mean, we're from a small town, and they supported her. They supported all the Scouts, and so I mean, it was just a really, really good experience for her.
It's the cookie crazies, but it makes the world go round. It makes our Girl Scout world go round. It's what makes it happen.
It really does.
Yeah.
I had a paper route when I was younger, and so I had a total I had a total customer base already with that. And recently, and I'm just kicking myself that I threw them away, but recently I just threw my cookie sheets from when I was like, God, probably 10, 12, 14 years
No
old.
way.
Yes. And I'm just like, God, I really kind of should have kept those, but I didn't. I just, because, you can only keep so much, really.
Oh gosh,
But,
Joanne, you've kept it all this time. You should have kept it.
That's
I know.
that's
I know.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, gosh.
The other thing that makes it go round is our volunteers. We appreciate all that you guys do for cookies. We know it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of effort on your part to keep it all straight and to keep everyone in order and do it all. So we thank you so much for your volunteer efforts and all of your time. We appreciate you.
yep.
And we appreciate you for being here tonight, spending the hour with us and more since we're over.
We
Okay.
had great conversation.
Yeah, I think that I love it when we get questions, and I love when we can have dialogue.
Yeah,
Have
I
a great
Okay.
night, everyone.
helped tonight. Thank you.
Yep. The next one I think is January. It'd be the first Thursday in January is the next town hall. And I'm not sure I know the topic off the top of my head.
I don't know either.
The topic is, drum roll, please. It is actually having a chat with the CEO, as well as I think it's all about
yeah.
programs.
And
So-
it's January 2nd. So, and I don't know if that's going to change because it's January 2nd. So the date could temporarily change. I don't know. Who knows?
yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So watch Facebook pages.
Yeah,
Watch
for
the
sure.
Facebook pages for changes to the date.
Yeah. So, anywho, have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
No, thanks for being
joining
on.
us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ta-da! Lila must have jumped.
Goodness.
Did.
How did I stop? Wait. Oh, stop
stop the
recording. There we go.
recording.
Okay, stop. Okay. I was like,